Hello Trail Finders, welcome back to the developer series video. Today we are going to talk about DML statements. So DML statements or DML operations are basically used to perform any action that you want to do on the database. So let's say you want to create some records, you want to update some records, you want to delete some records. So that's when you perform the DML operations on your database, and that's how you make changes to your database. So what are these DML operations? So DML operations are of 6 types. First is insert. Insert is basically you are creating a new record in the database. Then update. Update is similar to edit when you basically make some changes to an existing record in the database. That's basically called update. Upsert is whilst you are writing code, you want to perform some insert operations and some update operations together. So let's say you have a list of records. In that particular list, there are some new records are being created and some records are being updated as well. So then you would use upsert, which basically is a combination of insert and update, which will basically go and create some records in the database and as well as update those records in the database as well. How upsert works is in order for update and upsert to work, you need to have the record ID, which is the Salesforce ID. You need to have that record ID available in your list. So as long as you have that ID value populated in your object within Apex code, then update and upsert operations will go and update that particular record in the database. If that ID value is blank, then it will go and create that particular record in the database. I hope these three are clear. And now we are going to talk about delete operation. So delete is basically you're going to delete a record or a multiple records from the database. So then you would just use delete straight away. I think it's pretty straightforward. Undelete is something which you have deleted. You want to undelete it and bring it back into the database. So that's called undelete. When you delete anything in Salesforce, it stays in the recycle bin for 15 days, whether you delete it from the UI or you delete it from the Apex code, unless you do a hard delete, which basically means that you empty the recycle bin as well, then you cannot recover that data. So if you're doing something like that, be extremely cautious. If you're emptying the recycle bin in your live environment and you don't have the database backup available, then you are going to mess up things. I'm genuinely telling you, if your business does not have a database backup, do not go for empty recycle bin at any cost. Find some alternative options, take the database backup before you press the delete button or you run a batch job or you run any delete operation in your live environments, because trust me, you might miss one of the filters and that's when everything is going to get screwed. So please be extremely cautious whenever you use delete in live environments. Next up is undelete. So in case you have messed up, you can undelete and bring bring those data back into the Salesforce instance. They would stay in the recycle bin for 15 days. Merge. So merge is a combination of delete and update. So what basically you would find is, so let's say you have created duplicate records in your database. Like let's say you've created duplicate accounts. So let's say an account for HSBC has been created multiple times, and now you want to keep just one single copy of HSBC, and you don't want to have multiple copies of this particular account. So what you would use is you would use merge. You would give a master record, and then you would give to be merged record, and then you can merge these two records together. So what will basically happen, the values from the child will be copied onto the master wherever there's a value not available in the master, and then the child would be deleted and the master would stay in the system. So it's a delete and update operation, which when you combine together, it's called a merge operation. So you merge two records into one. I hope the concept is clear in your mind now. Let's go on to the developer console and see how do we write these statements. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play with account objects. So I'm going to create a variable called account object, and we'll do it like this. Then what we'll say is acc object dot name, because obviously on the account you need to give a name. So I'm going to give Apex test run. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write insert, and I'm going to insert the account object. Like I said, whenever we are inserting a record, it's a fresh record, so it does not have a Salesforce ID so far. Now that we are inserting it, it should get a Salesforce ID. So what do we do is let's debug the whole object for now and see what values coming through. And then we'll write the other statements as well once it saves. Let me. So as you can see, the insert operation has worked out, and now we have got the ID of this particular record as well. Now, if you copy this ID and go in Salesforce, and so basically, if you put the ID again after your lightning.force.com/, Salesforce would automatically redirect you to that particular record and see particular record is being created in Salesforce, and you can see it on the UI. Now, what do we want to do next? So next, what we studied was update. So how do we do update? On the account object, what we can say is, so let's say I want to add account source. Let's just check if that particular field is available on the UI. Otherwise, you know, okay, let's add the phone number here because right now it's blank. Let's add the phone number. So how do we do that? We'll do it like this, and we'll say phone, and we'll say this, and then we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Let's do that, and then we'll say update ACC object. So let's run it now. Let's say run, and we'll do the debug. We'll get the ID from here, which is this one. We'll go and view the record here. And if you see, this time we have got the Apex test run here, and we have also got the phone number. So if you can see, the account was created and updated as well at the same time using these two statements. Now, what we can also do is we can use an upsert statement in a similar fashion, and that would insert and update the records together, right? Now, let's say I want to delete. So what I can say is delete account object. So now, and we are already debugging the value, so we would see the ID. If I do this and I do an execute, so now what it will do, it will create an account, because I've run this command multiple times, so there are a couple of records created in the system already with this name. So let me change the name so that I'll show it, it's visible. So I'll call it training account, and I'll call it one, so that it's just, it's a different name, so you can see it. And now if I execute it again, let's do the debug. So this account was created because we've got the ID. So it was created, but now if I go and see it in the org, you won't find it. Why? Because we have deleted it as well. Obviously, I'm showing you all the transactions in a single method. So, it seems a little weird to see this happen, but basically you won't do insert and delete in the same transaction. You would do that in multiple transactions. So, it would be much more understandable that way. But that's how basically you write your DML statements, and you would use either of them in a particular method. You won't use all of them in a single method altogether. And same way, you would write undelete and merge operations as well. So try undelete and merge operations, and also the other all of these DML operations when you write your test code in your developer console. And if you have any questions or if you get stuck somewhere, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you.